because policies have been misconstrued to people in a way that puts them in peril, and I am not comfortable having someone speak for the city who cannot speak correctly on city policies.
I appreciate that very much. Point of order, I don't think, I'm happy to talk with anybody. If you really want to understand what happened, Councilor Ali was there. You're welcome to talk to him as well. I think it's unfortunate that we would be going down this path tonight as opposed to trying to figure out what a solution is. I have been down to that expo every day, and these families are desperate for our help, and I am doing everything I can to help them every day of the week, including trying to communicate to them, including trying to communicate to them on a regular basis. We are trying to find housing, and we are trying to place people where they need to be. It's what I said to them, and it is what I have repeated to them. And I think if you were willing to actually hear from some of the immigrants, you would hear that that is the case. I think there are more complicated issues.
City staff.
I understand that.
I'm just going to object to that.
So
I think that last statement. First of all, they are advocates who want to speak to the issue. One, but two, we did receive an email.
Yes, I understand that.
Hold on. I'm sorry. Did I?
I'm not just gonna,
I'm sorry. Well, my time is being recognized, and I'm going to speak. We did receive an email from a member of staff that raised concerns about what was being told.
Would you like me to address them?
No. Well, can I finish? Am I gonna be able to finish here? I didn't realize that the chair could just butt in every single time. It's an email that we all received, yes, in which you were alleged to have told residents, people who were staying at the shelter, that they did not have to accept the housing that was being found by staff. That is, I have a.
Would you like me to address the allegation? I'm happy to.
I'm sorry, did I finish? I didn't finish my statement.
You are out of order.
I mean, point of order. Point of order.
I'm happy to address it.
I'm sorry, am I done?
Okay.
I think that is unprofessional. And I think that's an unfortunate thing. This didn't just show up out of thin air. This is an email that is sitting in my inbox right now.
Yeah, well, I got it too. I understand. We're in campaign season. I appreciate it.
This is just point of order. I mean, it's just nuts.
So I'm happy to. It sounds like people would like to address that email. Councilor Ali was there as well. He can probably address it. I didn't address it in email because, you know what? I went back to the shelter the next day. I spoke to folks, and it was very clear that they understood exactly what it was I was talking about, which is what I said to people is, of course, in the United States of America, if you don't want to live somewhere, you aren't forced to live there. But if you make a decision not to live somewhere, you have repercussions of that. And in fact, the email says that. You will have, if you don't do this, there are unfortunate consequences to that. Now, this was an hour-long conversation with the families, who I meet with all the time, and I talk to them all the time to try to help them understand. Now, if anybody in this room thinks that the reason families are not choosing because of that conversation, might you remember that the night before, before I went down to the shelter, the city manager came and talked to us and said, there's already a problem where people are saying they don't want to take the housing. Before that conversation happened. Came into our room. So let's be clear about that. I understand that people want to turn this into something about us as opposed to about these families and what's best to do with them moving forward. It's not true. But let me be clear. What the families are understanding from me is that we are trying everything we can to find housing for you, and we will continue to do it. And I would encourage you to take whatever housing we can find, because otherwise, you are going to be living in a gymnasium or a shelter or on the street, and that's not a good thing. So I understand people want to make this about me instead of making this about the families and how we help them, but the families are who we need to help. And that is my focus. Councilor Ali.
With all due respect, Mayor, the reason why we're here is because of that specific email.
Well, if that's the reason we're here, then somebody should have just called me and I could have explained it.
That is the reason why we're here. Did you say that?
The reason why we're here, I believe, is because we have to answer 3 questions, which is what I sent to everybody, which said, what's going on with our family placement, et cetera. But if that's the issue, call me up. I spoke to the city manager about the issue. I spoke to Councilor Mavadonis. We sat and talked, and we said, okay, what do we need to talk about? How are we doing with placement? How are we doing with the expo? What's the general assistance rule? That's the agenda that we need to talk about tonight. This was not a meeting about me. It shouldn't be. It should be about the families. These families are in desperate need of help, and I am doing everything I can to help them, and they know it. And the community knows it.